Okay, we go. Jesus Christ, balls deep today. All right, we got one more. It's called
What's in the box?
It's called obesity clinics for children. Last one. Here we go.
NHS England have announced that they are opening 15 obesity clinics for children.
Jesus Christ. How come everyone talks weird in these videos? What is going on here? She looks like the little boy. She looks like Ralphie from Christmas Story with red hair and tits. It says NHS England are opening 15 obesity clinics for children. Let's talk about why that's an awful idea. Let's talk about why that might be necessary. Because kids are so fucking overweight and obese. Stop eating processed foods. Stop consuming vegetable oils. Exercise more. Get more sunlight. Eat real fucking food. But no.
NHS England have announced that they are opening 15 obesity clinics for children. Let's talk about some of the many reasons why this is an awful idea.
That it has to exist.
They're using BMI to calculate obesity. If you don't know, BMI was a calculation created almost 200 years ago.
Blah, blah, blah,
by
blah.
Someone who wasn't a doctor, not a medical professional of any.
You don't have to be a medical professional to use logic and common sense. It's a very accurate measurement of people that don't exercise. If you exercise, it's not accurate because muscle weighs more than fat. And by all BMI measurements, I'm overweight or obese. So it's actually very accurate. It just offends your sensitivities. What else is new? No one cares.
He was an academic, a mathematician, an astronomer.
Oh my God. He was a mathematician? Oh my God. He used math? Oh my God. You don't like the way you look? Just say that. Just say that. You're not happy with the way you look. Okay. Eat better and exercise. Next. You don't lift. You obviously don't lift. So what are you complaining about? If you don't take care of yourself, like if you don't do things that a human being should do, then like, what are you complaining about? Like, go to the fucking gym. I always love it. It's like, you shouldn't talk about I'm overweight. This offends me. It's like, go fucking lift then. Go lift. But I don't want to. Then don't. But then stop complaining about you looking soft and flabby.
Who came up with the BMI calculation when he was studying the average man. This study was solely based on white European men.
It applies to human beings.
And we know that our global population is not solely made up of white men.
It's made up of human beings.
Also, this was not created with health in mind.
It's very accurate for health and risk of all-cause mortality because obesity.
Come up with this calculation to be used to determine people's health. It was purely for his study of finding what he referred to as the average man.
Well, he finds what he referred to as an average man. Not every man dies. Every man dies. Not every man really lives. Not every man really gets yoked and fucking swole. Yeah, this is definitely an accurate measurement of the average person. It just offends you because you're fat. If you weren't fat, it wouldn't bother you. Who here gets offended by the BMI? Probably because you take care of yourself. Note that you only get offended if it applies to you. You only get offended if it applies to you.
These clinics will be for children aged 2 to 18.
Yes,
children as young as age 2 will be taken to this obesity clinic. Can you imagine?
I can.
Mom, what did I do for my second birthday? Oh, we had to take you to the obesity clinic.
No 2-year-old is going to an obesity clinic. None. It's not a thing. It's not a thing. No 2-year-old's going to...
I can't even begin to imagine how much going to a clinic like this that is solely focused on weight loss is going to impact children's self-esteem and their mental health. And considering there's this huge focus on weight loss, I wouldn't be surprised if it also leads to disordered eating behaviours.
If you're an obese child, it's your parents' responsibility, but you have disordered eating or like you have problems. That's why you're not healthy as a child if you're fat. If you're a fat child, it's your parents' fault, but it doesn't mean it means that the lifestyle habits that you're exposed to are improper. And this is why, it's a big issue. This is why we always say it's not your fault, but it's your responsibility. So if you grow up and you're in your 20s and you're like, my parents, you come across my content, you're like, my parents fed me shit, blah, blah, blah. There was always junk food around and now I'm obese. Like, yeah, I get it. That sucks. It truly does. You weren't exposed to exercise. You were fed crap. This is the problem. This is why it's very important, and it's going to be a generational thing, and it has to start within the household. But guess what? We don't have households in the same context anymore, right? This is why the state's trying to break apart the family. You're getting pumped full of garbage food products and industrial waste, pharmaceutical drugs. Kids are not promoted to exercise, blah, 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 blah. So when you don't have like an actual family unit, you don't have family meals, everyone's eating out, you're just going to get exposed to these bad behaviors. Okay. So I'm not saying it's a child's fault, but guess what? When you become an adult, it's your responsibility to make the positive changes. Stop blaming the world and blame your parents and blame the government. Okay. Well, what doesn't, okay, fine. You can't go back in time. There's no time machine. You can actually make those positive changes moving forward. And a lot of you do. Respect. So again, it comes down to, why do some people actually take control of their health and make those positive changes? Why do other people complain and whine and bitch and moan?
We know that eating disorders have the highest mortality rate of any psychological condition, and the NHS is already struggling. Mental health services are massively underfunded and are regularly cut. Why do we think this is a good idea? Why? We need to remember that weight and health are not the same thing, and that health isn't just physical, it's mental too. What about the mental health impact that these clinics are going to have?
What do I got to do to shut your fucking face hole? I don't know. Now, look, if you're going to say that kind of stuff, if you're going to say that kind of stuff, your screen name, look, this is the problem with having these identities. Her name on TikTok is Full-Bodied Becca. Full-bodied? You mean fat. Full-bodied. What the fuck? You're not a cigar. You're not a lager. Full-bodied Becca? What the fuck does that mean? In other words, your identity is around promoting obesity. You don't want to change. You don't want to take responsibility for your actions. You want to blame everyone else but yourself. So your point is moot. No one cares. Okay, no one cares. Great.
That's a huge bitch.
Man.